The Freemasons. There are 6 million of these top-secret fraternal men around the world, 2.5 million of which in the United States of America. This all-male society dates back to many centuries ago. The Freemasons have been a controversial group from the beginning. Most of the fraternity's foundation is kept hidden from the outside world. Therefore, most of what we know is based on myth and speculation, or simply what the Masons themselves have decided to tell us. The Freemasons came to colonial America and would eventually shape the young country into what is now the United States of America, thus creating the first Masonic nation in history. Who are the Freemasons, and what impact did they have on the American Revolution?
The Freemasons were a group of men who founded this secret society based on ideas of brotherhood and liberty, and they used these beliefs they founded in the society to fight for Americans' independence.
This fraternity formed in the Middle Ages, derived from the English guild system, and made its way across the Atlantic Ocean during the colonization of North America. This secret society served as a bridge between adolescence and adulthood for the young men who would join it.
The Freemasons are in fact not a religion or a cult. Although the Freemasons symbols can be seen almost every day and anywhere you look, that would be attributed to the fact they were adopted by society, not actually created from the Freemasons themselves. For example, the all-seeing eye is often interpreted as representing the eye of God watching over all of humankind, or divine providence, and it was created by Pierre de Cimetière, and he is not a Freemason.
While the all-seeing eye may definitely be attributed to the Freemasons, that is not the name most people think of when they see the sacred symbol. The name that echoes through most people's heads would be Illuminati. The difference between these two groups is that one of them is a well-known fraternity, while the other is a conspiracy. While we know the Freemasons exist, the Illuminati, however, not so much. There is no evidence saying that the Illuminati exists at all, much less that they are indeed connected to the Freemasons.
Many people believe that the Masons derived from the Knights Templar, which was just a group of monks who took up arms to protect Christians on their way to Jerusalem. However, the Knights Templar was long gone before the Masons ever emerged. Many people believe this because the Knights Templar, whenever they escaped from prison, people believed that they simply went into secrecy, went into hiding, and that they just re-emerged as the modern-day Freemasons. But the Masons and the Knights Templar have absolutely no historic connection.
If you are in need of a more visual representation, this is a Freemason, this is a Templar. Here's another Freemason. Here's another Templar. Freemason, Templar. Mason, Templar. Mason, Templar. Mason, Templar.
Contrary to popular belief, Freemasons did not, in fact, rule the world. The society does have a long list of prominent men, all the way from Napoleon Bonaparte to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, but it's not that they rule the world. It's more like the values the society instills in them gives them the ability to go on and be successful in things such as conquering the world and being one of the best presidents of the United States. And the community builds up successful men.
while Freemasonry is based off ideals of brotherly love, relief, truth, liberty, and equality. The Masons themselves did not start the American Revolution. However, many of the United States founding fathers were Freemasons. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, 14 signers of the Declaration of Independence, and 13 signers of the American Constitution were all Masonic members. George Washington was one of 14 United States presidents to be a Freemason. He was initiated into the Freemasons in the Fredericksburg, Virginia Lodge number 4 in November 4th, 1752. He was 20 years old at the time. At the time of Washington's presidential inauguration, he was already the worshipful master of his lodge in Virginia. He was sworn in on the Bible of St. John's Masonic Lodge number 1 and was wearing full Masonic attire at the time. Benjamin Franklin was also of high status in Masonry. He was the Grand Master of the Masons in Pennsylvania. Franklin would also involve himself with a secret spy network that would use Freemasonry as a way to get information from the British. Having so many of the United States founding fathers be Freemasons should be a clear sign that the Masons did indeed have an impact on the creation of the United States of America.
Many people believe that the Freemasons actually started the American Revolution, but that's not true at all because there were actually Freemasons on both sides, both the colonist side and the British side fighting. They didn't declare war and want American independence for the Freemasons just because they were Freemasons. They wanted it because it was for the good of the country, and that's what the Freemason fraternity taught them to believe, to fight for the good of the country and the people. And the foundations of the fraternity just kept the passion for American freedom burning in them.
The Freemasons have their own written constitution. Within this constitution, they have a few rules, such as freedom of speech, separation of powers, voting for officials, judicial review. Do any of these rules seem familiar in any way? Well, they should.
The Masonic ideal of attaining liberty was not necessarily through increasing the power of government. It was definitely through limiting it. This can be seen in the Articles of Confederation, for example, which was the first legitimate source of government in the United States, where the powers were vested in the states and not really in the federal branch. Obviously, this wasn't going to last long term, and Americans realized that and called for the Constitutional Convention, where 33% of those delegates sent were Freemasons. This would explain the uncanny resemblance between the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Freemasons.
The Masonic fraternity established a foundation that created successful men, and these successful men worked towards leadership positions in the government, and used the beliefs that the fraternity vested in them to mold the Constitution. Without these Masonic ideals, the country would be governed very differently from the democracy we see today.